and welcome to Maverrik Live. I'm your host Luke 2, and today I'm joined by
Dave Faulkner.
Dave Faulkner. It's like I forgot your name then. I was wondering if you were going to jump in or if I was going to say it.
Jump in to camera from behind you.
How long can I just stop that pause on until you were like,
I was
okay.
trying to keep it going, but then I was waiting and...
Come on, keep going. So how are you? You good?
Yeah, not too bad.
Almost a Wednesday, this midweek over the hump, as people like to call it.
Oh, I don't know, midweek is busier today.
What's your mentality on like the middle of the week? Because I feel like Thursdays are always worse than Wednesdays. Because I feel like there's still stuff to do and there's, this time where Thursdays is like, okay, it's past the week. It's not quite the Friday feeling of, okay, we've got a nice weekend in front of us, but it's not like I've got a lot of time to finish up these projects. It's kind of like a weird thing, isn't it, Wednesdays?
Yeah, I think creativity and sort of productivity starts well on Monday and does gradually get worse throughout the week. But I would say Wednesday is almost the tail end, because I think the front 3 days are always the most productive.
Yeah.
And then I think Wednesday, obviously, you're seeing the worst of that, but I think it is better than Thursday and Friday still. Yeah,
you're rested, and then all the actions get done. And then I think on Thursdays and Fridays, you get a lot of meetings, a lot of discussions, reviews, getting everything in order. It can be, depending on how a business runs and operates, it is like quite a slow down in a sense, which it shouldn't be, but it is what happens. It's just human nature, isn't it? Yeah,
100%. I think Thursdays, people are looking to clean up as much as they can so that Friday they can relax a bit more. So yeah, I guess Wednesday is like you kind of get to the end of the day and then you realise, actually, I need to push one more time.
When you work in a busy environment, you get like a lot of projects just sat on your lap. It's just like, here you go, and then you're like, okay, then you have to catch up with what you had originally planned. It can go quite, it's quite manic when you go in a very fast-paced environment. But we're not here to talk about Wednesdays, even though it is Wednesday. We're here to talk about winning content, which is essentially winning content is content which works well for you and works well for your audience. So just a little breakdown. If your content, we cover this in the Content That Converts course. It's a great course you want to learn about creating content which engages people and sells. We're not going to go too deep into it.
Where's the download button?
We're just going to explain what it is. So win-win content is content which provides you value, provides your audience value, and also gets them engaged, and you can get sort of inbound leads from it. It's essentially an all-round win.
Yeah, I think creating winning content, there's some key things to consider with that, but the ultimate aim is to reward your audience for viewing your content. You want them to leave your content thinking they got something, so they want to come back.
Yeah,
ultimately.
If you just post out engagement content, which is just like maybe some, I've done this before, just a nice little dog on a beach or something, something really light that people can just like.
People love dogs.
Yeah, which isn't too intensive, and people can just get the engagement up. But it doesn't actually provide much value about who you are, what you do. Yeah, it's essentially just like a fleeting passing, that's cool, and then you move on.
The thing with your engagement posts is they're not targeted at all. So your audience on an engagement post can be anyone and everyone. Everyone likes dogs, so you're talking about dogs, and anyone likes dogs. Yeah. So, you're not, with that sort of content, you might be getting good engagement, which looks good on paper, but you're not getting valuable eyes, or sort of, you're not getting targeted.
Unless you're a dog grooming company, you're not going to get that. So when it comes to obviously the winning content, you want it to be relevant to what you are and what you do and what your industry.
Yeah.
So we would post in, say we've got like a document about some statistics we've got about sales and how we can improve it. Posting out there would get reviews and engagement, get people going, oh, that's interesting. So it would get the likes and comments, and it would also show people what we're all about and what we know, what we're learning. So that's the win-win content right there. It's a little bit of engagement, but of value at the same time.
Yeah, and bearing in mind to avoid really making it a pitch, because you don't want it to be a sales pitch. And I think that's what a lot of people do. They'll talk about the value in their product or service, but then they'll go on to talk about why that means that their product and service is the best. And I think sometimes leaving that sales pitch out, someone may believe they've got value from content, but once they see that there was an ulterior motive, then they can switch off just as quick.
Yeah, we always sell the value of a conversation rather than the value of just that content piece selling. So you wouldn't just put in your price and here you go. You're not Asda. If you're doing B2B on LinkedIn, you can't sell like Asda. You can't just put a price out there and expect people to just go and buy it straight away. Because we're talking about probably multi-thousands, millions contracts here, because you need to develop those relationships and say to people, look, we know what we're talking about, this is what we can deliver.
Absolutely.
And you can't just slap a price tag on a post and expect to get sales that way.
Yeah, and I mean, it can work for some people. When you're selling a particular product, if it's a small product, a cheap product, if I'm selling a t-shirt and I've got a picture of the t-shirt, you can sell the t-shirt from a click. That can work, but most of the time we're not talking to B2C, so B2B is going to be a lot more sort of, you're going to want to spend a lot more time sort of nurturing a relationship with them.
Yeah, transactional content and business content, quite separate channels as you go down.
Yeah,
you develop interest with any engagement post, but you also need to develop that idea that talking to you is going to get them somewhere in a sense.
Yeah, so I think knowing your audience is going to be probably your most important thing with developing win-win content. You need to make sure you understand your target audience, make sure you know what topics they're interested in.
Yeah.
What all the sort of stuff they're interested in, want to read, really.
You would know why they benefit from a certain piece of content. Like, there's no point in you just making something if no one benefits from it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because, I mean, probably the worst thing out there is, working a lot hard on a post, and it's just maybe like, gets no likes, gets no views, even if it is an engagement post, and you just sat there thinking, well what went wrong there?
Yeah.
A lot of the time it's because it didn't have any reason for someone to respond, because that can be a tough one too. You need to develop a discussion, make sure your content is commentable, if that's a word, commentable.
You need to develop intrigue, don't you? So you want to agitate them into responding or making a move in some way, shape or form. And I think a lot of people nowadays, especially on social media, they're used to developing content for engagement only. So they judge their success by likes, comments, interaction. And sometimes you can have 1,000 likes with no real lead from it, or you can create something with 1 like, and that person's perfect for your business.
Yeah, I see a lot of people, obviously with the Euros yesterday, we were doing a lot of posts about, come on, let's go for it.
Yeah.
But those numbers, those figures were embellished by football fans rallying up.
Yeah.
But that's good for engagement, but I'd say it's more of a engagement post rather than a win-win content sort of post. You'll see a lot of numbers on those figures because people are supporting the countries and great. But that's not the content you carry on going forward with.
Yeah.
Probably a lot of people will post. I mean, if you are, it's fine, go in. But they probably have posted once a month or once every 3 months, and that's the only post they posted out there. If they want to try and get somewhere with that content, they need to take it a step further and start making it more industry specific to their target audience.
Yeah, I think we see so many people jump on the bandwagon. Sorry.
Yeah.
And they will do, like you say, once a month they'll post an engagement post. And whilst engagement posts have their own reason to be there, and you should use them, I think it's important to know that healthy balance between the two is going to enable. I mean, if your sort of audience that you do have, and if you haven't focused them into your target audience, but you do have an audience on social media, if they're busy looking at the wrong content, then I think that in the end your audience is pointless, really, on social media.
Yeah, if they come to your profile for the wrong thing that you sell or you provide, it can be quite disheartening, especially when you try and strum a conversation down the line about that content. Like, oh, hey, did you like my post? It's like, oh yeah, that's great. Yeah, I don't do anything like that though. You go, I do this instead. It can be quite jarring, can't it?
Yeah, a lot of people. The problem is a lot of people create content for themselves.
Yeah.
So they'll create content that they want to see, which in the end is. So this is another thing to create winning content. I think it's important to create. You need to create content for. When I say your audience, I'm meaning because a lot of people are creating content for someone in their own industry that is doing something they're doing. A lot of people's connections on LinkedIn specifically are filled with people that are in their same job roles, job positions, and they're not your target audience. They're just people who produce and are interested in the same content that you're creating there. I think the difference people need to learn is actually you're creating content for the viewer, not for people like yourself. Yeah,
you might see in your industry something industry specific of your news. Oh, that's really cool. I want to share that. Yeah. But in terms of the turnaround, what the target audience for our industry goes to them is got nothing to do with that.
Exactly.
So it could be, oh, hey, we found a new way to make websites faster by using this plugin. Yeah, great, that's cool and all, but I don't care about that. I only care about you building this up. It's like a small little thing. It's like, okay, that doesn't really affect me in any way, shape or form.
Exactly. Yeah.
But thanks for coming down, Dave. This is how you make winning content. Check out the Correct Content That Converts course if you want to go more into winning content. We also talk about how to post that content, how to formulate that, and also finding the value within that content as well. But once again, Dave, thanks for coming down.
Thanks for having me.
And we will see you next time for Maverrik Live.